General of Prisons and Police Services from Karnataka. Thank you very much, ma'am, for making it here today. May I now request everyone to rise up to your feet for the invocation. Deputy Director Shri M.R. Bhaskar to offer the welcome address.
Chandrasekhar sir, Course Coordinator Professor Dr. Matan Raj, Professor Dr. Beulah Emmanuel, our friend Abdul Rahman, Superintendent Prison Vellore, and dear training officers, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to this inaugural session. This is like we invite some eminent personalities from locally, but to our luck, this is sort of it's a very honored to have the respected Director General of Prisons, Head of the Department, Prisons Karnataka. Madam, this institution over the years has acquired a cult status. Now it is considered one of the best training institutes. Like our director and I are also the alumni of this training institute. Every prison officer down south comes from now. Many important officer training is to strive harder and take the Apca to another level. Training intervention is very important. The people who have just been promoted or been appointed or sent here. Since there is a provision in
I suggested, even though it is almost 1 month since this 3 months program has been started, I requested Madam to please come, and Madam getting accepted. And today she is the chief guest and making this function really an enhanced function. See, training has to be given priority in any professional department. That is why in the manual itself it is incorporated that no untrained prison officers should be employed in prisons. That who are promoted from the ranks of guarding staff to the officers cadre. Additionally, there is a 3 months basic course.
Abdul Rahman, all the faculty and staff members of Apca, and the trainee officers who have gathered here today. In fact, it is my first visit to Vellore and first visit to Apca. I am indeed very, very happy to be here amidst you today. But I was only a little concerned whether it is inaugural, because almost a month has lapsed after the inaugural thing. I almost feel like it is a sort of a mid-valedictory. It's almost like a mid-valedictory, but all the same, it has given me an opportunity to interact with you, and this really gives me a lot of pleasure to be here amidst you. In fact, because I've been hardly here for 3 to 4 months. So to become a face of a department requires a lot of working in the department, taking the department forward, and representing that takes a little more time and experience. So I hope with interaction with all of you, I'm going to gain that experience, and perhaps this will also turn into making my own small humble contribution to making the things slightly better from what I have inherited. So with these few things, I would like to talk about your training programs. In fact, it's a very unique inaugural, I should say. There are 3 different sets of programs which are simultaneously being done. The 3 months in-service course for the officers who have been recently promoted, and a basic course for probation officers, and a basic 3-month basic course for the welfare officers. So I congratulate first the probation officers and the welfare officers who have been recently recruited and joining the departments, and I also congratulate the officers who have been promoted, and they are on promotion, they are assuming higher responsibilities. So one issue which I think is very important is the correctional administration and correctional services, though it doesn't get that much of popularity as the regular police service or FIR service, nonetheless, it is as important, if not more important, in a correctional administration and the criminal justice system altogether. Because when you take a look at the police department, you handle people of different categories, the good ones, the bad ones, the victims, the offenders. But here in the prisons, you have a concentrated presence of offenders and under trials, convicts and under trials, and handling them is not a easy job. Let us be very, very clear about it. It may not look very romantic or adventurous being a jail officer, but I think after Rajnikant's jailer, it must have become more popular. The word jailer must have become much more popular and among the people also. But nonetheless, understanding of human beings who are on the wrong side of law or almost going in the wrong side of law, because we have a huge number of under trials also who have not yet been pronounced as convicts or offenders. They are in the process of trial. So they could be innocent, they could be victims, or they could be offenders. So this understanding is extremely important, and I am sure Apca gives you a lot of exposure to different ways of handling, because when I was going through, I was just given the list of subjects which you have been taught in the academy, the criminology and victimology. There are a set of almost 12 subjects that are being taught to almost all the groups of trainees, and very, very intense, very, very important, and very, very these become very, very crucial for enforcing the correctional system in the administration. In fact, Mr. Chandrasekhar was telling that the focus has shifted from punishment sort of a behavior, punishment in the prisons, to the correctional system. In fact, this is around the world, the focus has definitely shifted from punishment to corrections. That is why all the prison departments are also called as the correctional services, correctional administration. It is not out of necessity. In fact, he mentioned it out of necessity, we have to do it. In a way, it is a necessity, but definitely, unless we are correcting them, if they don't get reformed and corrected, they are going back to the system, it is going to be very detrimental to everybody, detrimental to society. So, the responsibility thrust on the prison officers, including the welfare officers and probation officers, are to see this transformation and this correction is effective, and the people who are incarcerated in the prisons go back as much more humane and much more humane people. So for this, the amount of knowledge, patience and commitment to reform the persons is huge, very, very, very huge. So the responsibility thrust on all of you is extremely enormous, which I don't think you have realized yet. Most of us, we think it's one job, but the way we are interacting with the people in prisons, it has to change. It is already the process of transformation and change has already started in many prisons. But this has to go on in a very, very focused and much more intensive manner, so that we are able to bring out that transformation in society also. Crimes are not going to stop, okay, but at least the intensity of the crime could be reduced. Transformation among people can be effected through our own interventions, various interventions. In fact, many states have different types of interventions, and I am very amazed to see how much of effect they are taking. They are having their own innovative way of interacting with the prisoners through the NGOs, through various means, through the psychologists, everybody. Change the way we see criminals, and unless we transform them and put them into the system as reformed individuals, we would be failing in our own responsibilities. So this is one issue. And the second issue, as regards as training is concerned, training is one thing that which is totally indispensable. Basic training, very basic and required. That doesn't mean all of us are very, very competent and we have gained the expertise to tackle the system. Definitely not. So the basic training gives us a bit of information and bit of knowledge about the environment that you will be working and the set of rules and the equipment and how you are supposed to work. But continuous learning is a minimum requirement for success. Unless the learning and training is continuous, we become redundant. So Apca, especially in this correctional administration, is taking long strides and in imparting this sort of a training on a continuous basis. And I wish and hope that this will multiply in a geometric fashion and more people are given professional training. And this training should effectively bring about transformation in the every trainee that passes through the portals of a training institute, especially Apca. When you come here, you come with general degrees, some examination which you have cleared, but the system, you are not equipped to handle the system. So, and for equipping a person to handle a system, as much as the training is required in imparting the rules, regulation, acts and all such things, attitudinal changes are one thing which are more important, equally or even sometimes more important. The way we try to handle an issue. I know the rule, I know the environment, I know the system. But have you ever wondered how, if there are 5 people handling the same problem, each one handles in a different way, with different measures of success. Why is that? Because definitely a human beings, a person's and officials' personal attitudes. So if they are very important. So if you go with a mindset that this fellow is a criminal, I am going to teach him a lesson, that is not what you have been meant for. I agree. Sometimes you feel that they have committed such heinous crimes, how can you live? But just think about how we handle in a family. There are some good, well adherent people, children who are adherent to the discipline in the family, some children who are mischievous, some children who are rebellious. If you are continuously beating the child who is rebellious and mischievous, do you think they will change? Definitely not.